So is the host.
Oh, boy, I do look nice in that picture.
Yes, you do.
Shoo. It's a little nice fresh haircut. Nice orange background. And the blue hairpiece.
19 and 20.
Any day now, Mama. Hello.
You're almost there.
Every show needs great talent, and we've got
Live from the Annex Coffee Shop in where else but downtown Saugatuck, Michigan. This is The Morning Grind with Mike Johnson. I'm Kenny Whitcomb, and today's show is brought to you by Saugatuck Harbor Auto Owners Insurance, Saugatuck Center for the Arts, Simpatico Coffee, Palazzolo's Gelato, Chemical Bank, Cisco Foods, Miller Lite, The Commercial Record, The Corner Bar, and the Coral Gables Comedy Club, night featuring Bob J. And now, the man with more pictures of himself in his office than in the post office, the host of The Morning Grind, here he is, Mike Jensen.
Check 1, 2, check 1. I just got here, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Grind radio program. We are broadcasting live once again, as Ken mentioned, from the Annex Coffee Shop here in downtown Saugatuck. Glad to be with you this morning. We got a great show as usual, and we have a rather clear picture on TV today. Why is that, Ken?
That's just how you're looking this morning. You're looking rather clear.
My earrings are showing up, the danglers. The reason I don't know, I think, are we on a new something? Are we broadcasting somewhere else?
We're still where we always are on the radio. And then we're also testing a new live video stream that, is an internal test right now. So we don't need to mention it to anyone.
Oh, okay. Other
than to say we are going to come back, where you can see our lovely faces made for radio.
Yeah. Well, we whatever it is I'm seeing, I'm liking it. It's really turning out great.
It's a lot of you, is what I.
Well, is that? Oh, that's the. Is it? Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's the problem. That is a problem. That seriously is
that
a
it's
problem.
you.
Yes. Well, look at this. See, if I put my hand there.
Well, don't cover the camera.
You can see those worry lines in my hand. Which reminds me, did you know that when someone is born, you can tell their life history by the lines, not their life history, I guess the prognosis of their life by the lines.
The prediction is the oracle is in your hand. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And I can remember when my one baby girl was born, and I pulled her out, and checked her hands, and they were beautiful. Lines going every which way, and they were nice. And the doctor said, "You're lucky. You got good lines."
Okay.
Well, that was then, and this is now. We are live on the radio once again. We got a great show, as I mentioned already. The good thing that makes it so great is the wind up. We have Bob J. He is the man of 999 voices appearing tonight at Coral Gables at the Comedy Club. Bob J is going to be accompanied by Brandon Gay. So it's Bob J and Brandon Gay tonight.
Are they touring together?
I don't know. I think, the way I understand how that works is that it's a random pick, and they just so happens this time it's Bob J and Brandon Gay. So much easier for me to remember because
Do they have any say in where they appear? I mean, can they turn? I mean, I know you can turn down comedians if you don't want that one back.
yeah.
But can they refuse to? No, I'm not going to that venue.
Yeah, but we've never had anyone do that except Red Skelton. One time he refused to appear here, and I don't know why. I guess because I don't know why. I guess because I made fun of him one time, and although he was a great comedian, that's how long we've been doing comedy here at Coral Gables since.
That joke you just mimicked me in high school. You were dating yourself.
Red Skelton.
Yeah.
Well, I won't
I'll
date
bet
anyone else.
I bet that there are maybe some listeners
Who know who that is?
who don't know who Red. I mean, I'm sure there are many that do. But
Red was, in fact, he was on every Tuesday night. I remember as a child, and I never thought he was funny. Did you? Did you think he was funny?
he was not the funniest person. I was
No.
more of a Flip Wilson fan.
Yeah,
Red Skelton did jokes, I think, for the older crowd
yeah,
when we were kids.
yeah, but I'll tell you what, he was a popular sort. I saw him in Las Vegas too. I think. No, I think that was Shecky Green. Well, anyhow, it was one of those guys, and they're great on stage because they can loosen up a little bit. They can say some off-color comments,
Things they can't say on television.
Yeah, exactly. Because and the censors were much more difficult to get by years ago because they had tighter trousers. I think I don't know what made them so tight, but they just wouldn't let you say much. And nowadays, of course, almost everything is said on TV. Kind of makes you mad, doesn't it?
Well, at least on cable. Yeah, on
yeah.
non-broadcast. If it's not on the the normal television broadcast channels, then there's no limit. Like
Yeah.
on our internet feed, we could say whatever we want, but because we are being broadcast on radio waves, we are limited.
In fact, we are on 2 channels now, and opting for more.
Oh, so actually, we're broadcasting in stereo. You position yourself precisely halfway between Holland and South Haven, and then tune in 2 different transistor radios, but one in each ear, and you'll have stereo.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a 7-second delay in one of them, isn't there?
One of them, there might be more like a half-hour delay, just because they want to review. They want to have the lawyers review it
take
first.
a look at this and send it out to Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, and just send it back and then figure it out. Yeah, no, we do. We are on 92.7 WCSY FM. No, 103.7 WCSY FM in South Haven and 92.7 WYVN in Holland. Now, and I pointed this out so many times. You may be tired of hearing this, folks, but we are actually we cover a wide variety of counties and cities, if you will. We go from in the north to Kent City. I picked it up one time when I was up at a track meet, and it was actually coming in very clear. Kent City to the north, Grand Rapids to the east, going southward all along the lakeshore, and Kalamazoo, parts of Kalamazoo, Plainwell, then 103.7 takes over, and that would be in South Bend, South Haven, St. Joe, Coloma, Three Rivers,
Ganges,
Ganges,
Covert,
Overijssel, all of them,
Banger.
Bangor, and Bangor, Dave's Barbershop there. They're always listening. Good morning, guys, at Dave's. Hope you take a little off the sides. And as they always, you ever go to a barber and say, take just a little off the sides, and they just mow it all?
It's the same for everyone. And just, you give them whatever specific request you want.
And they don't listen.
Yeah.
That's the way a barber, that's why he's popular, or not. Anyhow, then we go down to South Bend, Indiana, which Notre Dame is down there.
Your alma mater.
But did you know, have we brought this up, that I was recruited by Notre Dame? Have we
Well,
brought that
no,
up?
there's a tale you've not told me before.
I don't think I've told you that. Well, let me just say this.
And then they found out you were Eastern Orthodox, and then that fell apart.
Yeah. No, well, as I found out this week, traveling to South Bend with my wife and daughter, who is...
Oh, it's tour time, isn't it?
Yeah. We went to Notre Dame, and we did find out, yes, it is a Catholic school, but there are many denominations attending. So you do have to take a Catholic class. I guess that's to warn you what you might be facing in your life. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it's just a recruitment effort.
It could be. And then, but nevertheless, it's a great school, beautiful school.
Then there's also St. Mary's. Did you tour there too?
Yeah, well, Thea, my daughter, went there before, quite a while ago. In fact, maybe a year ago. Went to St. Mary's. I took a look, and but Notre Dame was very nice. And Kenny, this I'm sure you don't know. Let's get back to me being recruited, but we'll get back to that in just a moment.
Okay.
The coach actually texted my daughter. He wasn't there. He is now the coach, and I cannot think of his name. He has taken over the track, the cross country, all the field events, everything he's in charge of. So he is real busy. So she went down there actually in hopes of being able to talk to him. And he was not available. And in fact, not even on campus. And but he did text her and say, look, I'm so sorry, I missed you. And one more thing, seeing her times and so forth. And I don't mean to belittle the academic end of college. Relatively important.
Well, it all depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, she's got the grades. Let me just say that she's got the grades. But he said, if you cut a second off your 800 time, and a second off of one other thing, I can't remember, maybe eating dinner. I don't know. Cut a second off of that. You have an automatic position on the team. So that's pretty good because now that's college times, she's comparing against.
So regardless of whether or not she's admitted academically, she'll be on the team.
Yeah. To fly in to run. No, she won't be. I mean, there's no guarantees in any of that stuff.
But I think Thea is a strong enough student that she would be desirable for any institution of higher learning.
Thank God she's a student first and a runner second. Although running is creeping in there, she really loves it. And, of course, they all do. Every one of those kids are so dedicated. We love the Bowers coaching techniques. It's not only the Bowers, but all over the country, there are great coaches. There are so many great athletes, and these coaches bring some of the great coaches bring this greatness out of these kids. And you wonder if you had a bad coach, if you would still rise above that. You don't know. Do you know?
I think
For
that
example, you were a bad coach.
yeah, I think that most students are capable of achieving great things in spite of their adults in their lives.
Yeah. Oh, really? Really? Yeah, exactly. My children are. Oh, and my other little girl just passed her driver's test. Here's what she passed. You know how they do it in two parts now?
Yeah,
Well, she passed the written and the course, driving course. Now she waits a year. She'll go to the Secretary of State, assumably, and get her permit. She's eligible for that, and then she'll wait a year and then get her license. She's poor little baby's only 14 years old, right now, but she'll be 15 in August. And I guess they take driver's training now, and then she'll get her license next August.
how many hours are they supposed to log driving with a parent?
I'm not sure, but she's going to have a whole year, which is kind of cool.
You know, one of the ironies in that system is that they have to drive with their parent in the car with them. I think they have to be in the front seat. I'm not sure about that, but that parent does not need to be licensed themselves.
Really?
The parent needs to know nothing about the laws
They
of the
just
road.
need to sit
They just
there.
need to, yeah. And I think that maybe it's for having a witness if something happens.
Well, now in my case, I had a set of brakes installed on the passenger side. So if I feel she's going too fast, I just ride the brake.
You have your own steering wheel too. Is this like a Fisher Price thing?
Yeah, well, they're actually those things that you go back and forth with on a bobsled. You ever been on a bob sled? They, but it's not that I don't trust her. But I mean, I just thought an extra set of brakes could come in handy.
Gives you something to do
yeah.
while you're riding.
Instead of
Makes
yelling.
you feel like you're doing something important.
Instead of yelling, that is correct. Back to my recruiting days.
I just want to ask a question about your daughters.
Wow.
Did they want to be licensed drivers at age 16, or is that not something that they're motivated to do?
Yeah, the younger one, yes. She took her driver's training at 14. She can't wait, because she's free then. She's free from this anarchy. So, but my older daughter, she really had no desire to get her license. I think she was 16, and then she took driver's training, and then 17, and she finally got her license, and she's still 17, but now she's got her license and she drives all the time. But she was really before she got it, she was in no hurry to get it. And and I know in your case, your daughters both wanted it right away.
Well, we
As
wanted them
soon
to
as
have it
possible.
because we were just sick of carting them everywhere.
And and see, that's where you and I differ as parents. I enjoyed, and I still enjoy taking my youngest daughter to school. However, her sister takes her now. The saddest day in my life was the day they said, "Dad, we're driving today." And I said, "What do I do?" You don't go
You just
along.
had
You don't do
all
anything.
the value and meaning ripped right out of your life.
Yeah. So I mean, I enjoy dropping them off and have a great day and bye and everything else, and then making sure the police are sitting outside there. And but and when I didn't do that anymore, something getting choked up. No, not really. I did have a frog in my throat.
Hey, I was going to ask you.
About the frog.
No,
What?
I've always wanted you to tell us sometime about what schools you looked at going to when you were in high school. Who recruited you?
You wanted to know that.
Yes.
Well, there was, and it's funny. I just was talking about that the other night. I often give my daughters life lessons that I have learned, and to try to inspire them to excel or not excel, depends on what it's all about. But I was, of course, this came up because of this reason that we have 2 employees this year who graduated from Okemos High School, where I went to school, and and they asked me about it, and they said there is and this was and you folks at home might want to check this out. I'm not sure this record still stands. I'm not sure, but at one point I held the Michigan High School Athletic Association solo tackles record, and there was 30 tackles in one game.
You were a defensive linebacker?
I was a linebacker, yeah. Now, I'm not sure.
You were known as Mr. Blitz, weren't you?
No, I was known as Mr. Mr.
I want to call you Mr. Blitz.
Mr. Dude. No, but I held that for quite a few years because I checked back on it in my declining years, and it was there. But I'm not so sure, and I'm not sure those records are there anymore. I refuse to divulge the year, so good luck with that.
I'm working on it right here. You entertain us with your tales about yourself.
Yeah. So
if you can't think of anything else to talk about.
Well, actually, I do have plenty to talk about today because of our guests coming up. But back to this recruitment thing, I was recruited to play football, of course, and not to go to college necessarily. They didn't care for that. They said, "Tell you what, we got the laundry scholarship," which meant I checked in at the laundry every day, and they gave me credits. So that was a good scholarship to have. So I wasn't really probably the smartest student, but I was recruited by.
You could find the guy with the ball. Apparently, you were smart enough to do that.
That was the only thing. I would weed out anyone who might have the ball, and then take the guy who did have the ball home with me at the end of the game. Anyhow, getting the game ball. Oh, guys. So anyhow, what I did is I actually I was recruited by Central Michigan University. I was recruited by all the small colleges, not all of them, but a lot of them. I don't think Grand Valley. But Grand
Valley wasn't in existence.
No, it didn't
at that
even
time.
exist. No, it was a mere cow field at that time. But Central Michigan, possibly Eastern Michigan, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Alabama, of all things. Not recruited. I was interested in going there, and I got a letter. No, I got a letter from Bear Bryant. And true story.
I want to see this. If you have a letter from Bear Bryant, I want to see that.
And I'll never divulge it because I don't have it anymore. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't save his memoirs.
No, that's not true.
They're all
I've seen your office. You save a lot.
All right,
I
got that one picture of Butch Jones. I have that one picture of Kirk Cousins. I'm trying to get back in with him because we do have a problem. But anyhow, so this recruitment process, I never really took advantage of it because I had a very serious car accident when I was scheduled to go to Michigan State. And the one who recruited me, the 2 guys, Hank Bulla and Cal Stahl.
George Gipp.
No, that was a Gipper. And they took me to the Kellogg Center for lunch. That was the extent of it. But no, they said, "We want you." And that was great. And I said, okay. So something we were talking about just before that. What was that? Do you remember? Because I wanted to expound upon that. Recruitment? No, not recruitment. The fact that in this day and age, the recruiting process is so different You text the coach, they text you, you talk on your cell phone. We had, we couldn't even make long distance calls when I was that age. They would not, my family, my mother and father would not allow us to. I'm going to call Notre Dame. Don't you dare touch that phone. That's the way it
That would
works.
cost like all of it, 62 cents.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
long distance.
And because we got just talk locally, don't talk on. So I mean, it's just changed so much, and the athletes have changed. They've gotten better, no doubt about that.
Okay, here's what I can report about MHSAA football records on tackles. The only tackles that they keep records of are quarterback sacks for the game and for a season and for career, and defensive touchdowns. Well, that doesn't count as a tackle, does it? And tackles for a loss in a season. And they show Brandon Schaffow from Walled Lake Western in 2008. He made 39 tackles
For loss.
for a loss. So I guess it doesn't count if you're tackling and you let them have 15 yards. That's probably not a good defensive strategy, is it?
Yeah. No, but well, the majority of my tackles were either at the line of scrimmage or no, I don't want to say that.
If your linebacker, oftentimes the ball carrier got into your field, right?
Right. But anyhow,
So how many did you have
I had 30 in one game. 30 tackles
in one game?
in one game. Are they talking about season there?
Those were all season. Yeah, they don't have a tackles in one game
30
list.
30 tackles in one game, as God is my witness. And now, if anyone I played with on that team happens to be listening, or the coach, if he's still alive, Bob Port, Cockcroft was the other guy. He was the defensive coach. If you guys are listening, which I'm sure you are, could you call and verify that?
So, but
30
some of those were perhaps not for a loss.
Oh, right. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, 30 solo tackles. Solo. Now, that's not me jumping on a pile or
The late hit, right?
jumping on you.
There's always that one guy on the team who's
Oh, yeah.
just
When
famous for the.
turns his number to the press box, Got it? Yeah, I got it. All right. That was something my dad told me to do. He said, always get up off the pile and turn around to the press box. But I never did that. I was a shy guy. And then, now look at me. But anyhow, and some of these stories that I tell you about are true.
Some of them.
So many of them are true.
I wish we could know how to discern
Yeah.
which ones are true and
Yeah,
which
but
ones
no,
are just
90.
Mike
I mean,
Johnson
that,
stories.
for example, that last story was true. God is my witness. God is my witness.
You
I
think
had
he has
30
time
times.
for that?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
People, a lot of people who are non-believers think, oh no, he doesn't have time. The Spirit of God has time.
See, because that is actually that's the sin of taking God's name in vain. Is you say something like that, and you're not telling the truth.
Oh, I would never do that. And if I say God is my witness, I mean it. I mean, a lot of these other things aren't true. Hey, can I tell you, I got to get one more dig in before we go here. When do we go to break?
We've got all of 2 minutes and
Oh,
10 seconds.
I want to say hi to my friends at the post office. I have to do that. Occasionally I will offend people. And then this week I went in to mail a package overnight, and a lady said, "Oh, I heard you on the air say that we just sit in the back and go through everybody's mail," and I don't think that's true.
I did hear you say
Yeah.
that.
Well, I don't remember saying it, but I don't think that's true. However, I know they do sit in the back and eat lunch, because I was trying to get in there and it didn't open back up till 1:30. That much I know. No, I would never say you go through our mail. I would never say that. In fact, we don't get our mail half the time. So I know, and no, I'm kidding. And please understand, post office friends, that this is a comedy show, okay? We think it is. We try to make it funny. And I may say things that, well, I hope never to hurt anyone, but in jest, I may say things that, but she really took that serious. She took it so serious. I was worried that that letter was going to go out that I needed to mail, but she mailed it, and thank you very much. Okay, well, I hope that cleared that up, huh?
Well, I feel better now. I hope you do too.
Yeah. So anyhow,
Oh, do we have guests today? Real quickly.
oh yeah,
before
real quickly, we do. We have Mr. Scott Sullivan, the commercial record
Oh.
editor, is going to be with us,
One of my faves.
and then we have Jason Petty. Jason's doing the Mud Challenge down in South Haven,
Okay.
which is a huge race, and then we have Mark Kinnaman, attorney at
Oh,
law.
This is going to be a banner
Yeah,
show.
it's going to be great. So we're going to take a break here in just momentarily. And you're listening to the Morning Grind on 92.7 The Van and 103.7 WCSY FM. We'll be right back.
This is Saugatuck City Manager Kirk Harrier. It's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for the Morning Grind with Mike Johnson. It just goes to show you anyone, and I mean anyone, can have their own radio show.
In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Visit your local Auto Owners Insurance agent, Mark Becken, and his team at Saugatuck Harbor Insurance in Douglas, or contact them at 269-857-1751. You can also visit Saugatuck Harbor Insurance at www.shinsurance.com.
There are more than 32,000 different beers out there, and yet light beer is one of the hardest beers in the world to brew. Why? Because there are no heavy flavors to hide any imperfections. And Miller Lite just happens to have won more gold medals than any American light beer. Now there's some barroom trivia for you. It's Miller time.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2016 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounce, 96 calories, 3.2 grams carbs, 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
Getting healthy is a snap. At Snap Fitness, Saugatuck, Michigan, 3467 Blue Star Highway, next to Dollar General and the State Police. Snap Fitness is open 24/7 for members, and you're able to use Snap Fitness facilities anywhere in the world. Snap Fitness offers personal training, group classes, or choose from a list of video-on-demand fitness classes. Stop by for our latest membership deal. Snap Fitness. Feel healthy. Get healthy at Snap Fitness. Call them at 616-928-1988 or email them at saugatuck@snapfitness.com, or just stop by the gym. Snap Fitness, where getting healthy is a snap.
We're back. Hey, it's the Morning Grind. Everyone come gather around the radio. You can listen to Mike Johnson.
And Ken Whitcomb. Ken's with us this morning. Good morning, Ken.
Hey, Mike.
How are you, friend?
Did you notice that I got a promotion?
No, what happened?
According to our advertisement, I've made it up to co-host.
No, that was a mistake. That was a glitch in the announcer. I'm sorry. I'll have that removed as soon as possible. I'm sorry to have embarrassed you like that. That shouldn't be that way.
That really
It's
bothers
wrong.
you, doesn't it?
It's wrong, Ken. One show a couple weeks ago, he says, I said, I'm Mike Johnson. And he says, and I'm co-host Ken Whitcomb. Snuck it right in at the end. I couldn't do anything. We were off the air. So, and that's fine. I love you like a son. We work well together. We play well together. We drink beer together.
Once.
One time. When was that?
Oh, that was years ago.
Years ago, yeah, when we were 18, huh? Before we were allowed to drink. Anyhow, did we? And before we go into our first guest, who is in the area right now, we're trying to kill some time till he walks.
He's on his moped circling the building.
Yeah, not knowing what show he's going to be on. That was a problem at one time. You had to go. Was I supposed to be on this show or the one across the street? Remember
Yes,
that?
yes. There was
Yeah.
a time when
And
there
now
were 2 Saturday morning radio shows broadcasting live
Yeah.
from Saugatuck,
in
Michigan.
this little
And
town.
there was also 2 Grand Rapids newspapers at one time.
Yeah.
But now they don't even have a daily anymore. And we have 2 newspapers in Saugatuck, Douglas.
Good morning, Myrene. Myrene Cook is listening to the program this morning. She just sent me a text and said, "Good morning, Mike. I miss you.
That's
I'd
nice.
like to see you in person. I would like to read about all of
She would
your
like to
accomplishments."
interview you about a case.
Ooh, yeah. Myrene's the kind of person I would not want to be in a court against. She is fair. She's fair, but she's tough. I've seen her in action. She prosecuted O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
She didn't, but if she were on that level, federal level, she probably would have been chosen.
Could
I would think. I don't know. And I'm not, I'm not trying to show favoritism. Oh, and there is someone at the door. Oh, Bob J. is the comedian. Did we mention that
Yes,
tonight? Okay.
a couple times.
All right, fine. Bob. Good morning, Scott Sullivan.
Good morning, Saugatuck. So,
Hey.
Ken, you are the coho now. We can trot out that joke again.
He is
Or
a
is that just a fish story?
he is a coho. That is correct,
Yes.
but not a co-host.
Okay.
I
Now,
just don't want to be a steelhead about it.
Yeah, he just needs to add the ST.
let's talk a little bit about the first thing that came to mind this morning, and that was you and Mr. What's his name, the old commercial record owner.
Mike Wilcox.
No, the old one.
Oh, Art Lane.
Art Lane are going to
Yes.
sit down and talk.
Yes, yes. It's
What's
a
that all about?
Tuesday talk before the Saugatuck Douglas History Center
Uh-huh.
on Tuesday, July 31st. Starts at 11 a.m. in the old schoolhouse in Douglas. The commercial record first came out in July of 1868. So this is the 150th anniversary. We will also the commercial record will be hosting a Douglas social August 23rd
Really?
at the old schoolhouse.
That'll be nice.
So yeah, it'll be interesting.
So is Art still around?
He is still around, yes. And his wife,
Kit.
Kit, is still around. So they will be speaking, and obviously they know a lot more about the history. I'm 13 years here, which is a fair bit of history, but it's a lot less.
Nothing compared to that.
Nothing compared to them.
So are you going to pepper him with questions or what?
Well, the idea, I believe, is to either of us to discuss, and Art will have a lot more to discuss about past history. I've been in the business for close to 40 years, so I can talk about the genesis of newspapers, and I kind of remember West Michigan newspapers vintage the time that Art and Kit were publishing the commercial record and the Fenville Herald. But my look at it would be more, the most recent years where I, maybe it's going, where it came from, and I certainly beg to Art's seniority and experience on that.
Yeah, Art was a great guy. In fact,
Yes.
they both are great and great writers
Yes.
for their time. I think nowadays, if you're not a little bit wacky or a little bit dirty, you don't get published.
Well, times change, tastes change, the way
Thank
people,
you, Kenny.
use language, the way people communicate with language, it evolves, it migrates. I was a kid, I learned, I'm about your age, I learned English and probably speaking the vernacular of people our age. And, that's probably not what my kid who's 18 would be speaking or the way she would.
In fact, we had it wasn't your kid, it was Mike Wilcox's kid.
Oh, Jordan. Yeah, his son.
Jordan.
Mhm.
Is he actively involved in the newspaper?
He is sort of an IT person. He's still in high school.
Oh, God.
So, but he does travel some with Mike. And, his dad keeps him involved in the operation. Mike, his father, Richard Wilcox, was also a publisher. So
Oh, really?
there's sort of a generational thing going on.
That's
I don't know
great.
if that's where Jordan will wind up. But
Yeah, it's a family business, more or less, isn't it? He'll probably take over someday, do you think? Or no?
I don't know. This is looking down
Of
the
course,
road.
you got to remember, Wilcox owns a couple different newspapers, or a few different.
He owns a newspaper in Clare. He owns a newspaper in Lafayette, Alabama.
Yeah.
And you know,
Not Indiana.
not Indiana, which I grew up in West Lafayette,
Sure you did.
Indiana.
Sure you did.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's
Home of the
really
Boilermakers.
the late.
Boiler up.
Yeah. We enjoyed many a Boilermaker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
a
bet
school
you
named
did.
after a mixed drink.
yeah. As Ken does. So do you know what a Boilermaker is really? And don't help him, Kenny, on this.
Okay. I'll
You know
say
what
it.
Officially,
I mean,
Purdue was
what
just
ki-
whatever alcohol
no,
you
no,
had, you
no.
threw it in.
Oh, what is a Boilermaker drink?
Tell me.
You don't know.
Officially, yes. I need the official mix.
All right. It is a
Mixologist.
beer
Mhm.
with a shot of whiskey in it, right? You drop it in. Is that right?
I thought that was an Irish car bomb.
Chris, am I right about that?
You were going to you were going to tell us definitively.
Yeah, I thought I had it, but as it was coming out, I was beginning to get
And you've
foggy.
been the
Can I move this
proprietor of an
back?
establishment that sells these beverages for how many years?
Yeah, but you got to understand, I'm not much of a mixologist. I started out as a mixologist, and you know who will argue with that statement is Mike Rooney. Mike Rooney is in town today.
Uh-oh.
He's been here all week. He taught me to 10 bar. We were talking last night. My first drink I made, Singapore Sling.
Mike, if you're listening, call in and give us the official ingredients for a Boilermaker.
And that's correct. You would know that, Mikey, because because you drank many of them when he went to Michigan State.
Even when he was serving.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. Oh no,
Oh,
we weren't
no,
allowed to
okay.
drink while we were working. But unlike the world today, you don't tell people they can't do something because then they do it.
Well, that's sure. So
Sure.
like banned in Boston.
Yeah,
You tell some guy in Douglas to take the painting out of his window and it sells the next day.
yeah. So what's that story all about now? I don't know that. Really.
Well, that was interesting. There's a fellow, the Palette Gallery, which is in Douglas on Center Street across from Beery Field. Lynn Newman was in there and Steve Rubenkamp in that space before that. And Peter Gower, the current owner, hung a painting, a nude male there. And apparently a parent complained. And my understanding was that Douglas sent a city hall official. What I heard since then, it was a policeman went there and asked that he take it down, and they cited General Ordinance 134 against obscene materials on public display.
Was it Zerby who went and asked?
I think Zerby is late of the Saugatuck Douglas Police Department, which is also late of because it's now just the Douglas Police
Oh,
Department.
correct. Oh, hey, not to change the subject. Have you seen the new squad cars we have here in town?
I've seen one or two.
Yeah.
I've still seen sheriff's cars
They're
going, but I've
still
seen some
around.
painted ones.
But apparently, yeah, it's that old blue one that says Saugatuck Police on it. Then the Sheriff's Department logo on it.
My suspicion is that when the two cities split on the department, each one got a percentage of their capital investments for 20 years. So Saugatuck got a couple of those vehicles.
Yeah.
Chances are that may be one of them that was just repainted,
repainted.
just as Douglas has redone its to just
You
say
know,
Douglas Police.
my daughter's observation. The reason we saw this, we went out for a walk this week, and we saw the car in front of the station house there, or the courthouse, and she said, "Dad, is that a new car?" And I got real close to it. It seemed to be a new model car, like brand new,
Okay.
not a scratch on it, like when Zerby used to drive. When Zerby would run into things.
Well, he only drove the newest.
yeah, he drove the
I mean, for
finest.
Zerby, they bought him a new car every day he was on a shift.
Well,
And
the
he was
springs-
Zerby.
springs in the seat would break down, and they would have to get him. No, Zerby was always a good officer, and if we mention your name, Zerby, and I probably should warn Steve Kent too. If we mention Zerby's name, it's in fun because we like Officer Zerby.
It's in reverence. It's in reverence.
Reverence?
Yes, yes.
Not in fun.
And you're sure that Myrene Koch wants to see you about
No, you know, I
to
say-
consult with you about politics, or is there
Yeah,
something a little
you
more
know what?
serious going on here that the prosecutor
Here's the
needs
deal.
to discuss?
Yeah, she did say, "Please call this number," and it was a jailhouse. But I thought that was her regular number. Anyhow, no, Myrene and I are friends, and not only Facebook friends, but I consider her a friend. We speak often. Lou, her husband,
Yeah.
and
mhm.
I and my wife we don't go out, but I
Mhm.
mean we know each other.
Sure.
And in fact, a couple weeks ago, as Kenny remembers, when I was piling in the car for to lead the parade as Grand Marshal.
The Grand Marshal.
That's correct. Which you more or less overlooked. And
I took a picture of you.
yeah, well, I don't remember what happened to it, but
You and
yeah.
Ruth and Julia.
and that was a cute story, Kenny. And I want to tell you all about it. Okay, here we get this.
I thought you wanted to know how to make a Boilermaker.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Mike Green to call.
Well, very quickly, it's like you described: a beer in a mug and a shot of whiskey, and you can either drink them side by side, sip on the whiskey,
or together,
and chase it with beer, or you can do as you said, drop.
I think the reason that the dynamic name of
Decisions.
Boilermaker is because of plump.
Is the effervescence.
Yeah, really.
Sounds like a brewer. I like it.
Yeah. Well, Kenny is a brewer.
That's what I
It's
understand.
called over as a brewery.
I am on the 21-day disabled list in Milwaukee right now.
What happened?
Problems with my back.
The Brewers, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, what about the revenuers? Do you have to worry about that? Shut down the still.
Oh, here they come! Get him out of here! Get your daughter hidden.
Got that hidden behind a pile of hay bales.
But you are actually a legal home brewer.
Did you say legal or illegal?
No, I said legal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, you don't need a license for home brewing.
No, but there are two things that you have to do. One is not make more than the federal allotted amount per year,
which is
100 gallons, unless there is a second person of age in the household. Then you can make up to 200 gallons per year. And of course, you can't charge for it if you it's only for personal consumption.
Beers on Ken. If we come over,
I have done that on occasion. Yes,
you supply the beer for the party.
We bring the whiskey and we have Boilermakers.
Boilermakers, yeah.
Yeah, we're there.
So now you know what a Boilermaker is, and it's been confirmed by our statistician.
He's a statistician as well as a coho.
Yeah. Let's drop the coho.
Man.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. If you want to ruffle my feathers, you're going to keep bringing this up.
okay. I'll just be the host then.
The host with the most.
You said get rid of the coat.
Yeah. Hey.
You guys are pretty smart.
Let's trade seats. You run
All right.
things over here,
Yeah.
and I'll talk about myself.
Do you really think that's all I do? The only reason you bait me, you get me go, tell us about your travels, Mike, and I fall for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all right because I'm the host.
Hey, there we go.
Grind. All right. So we're talking about what?
What about the painting in Douglas, or, or the
painting.
police car? We sort of covered a range here so far.
The painting in Douglas. Did you happen to get a picture of that?
I saw it. I did not.
What did you see? Describe
it was
what you
a
saw.
male nude, a dark complected male nude, and showing the that part of the body which no person should ever have to look at.
Exactly.
In fact, when I was born, my parents
true.
blessed me by pasting a fig leaf over that area, and it's been kind of difficult, urinating and procreating since then. But I'm
Your
grateful
wife says,
for it.
what do you got under that fig leaf? I don't know. My parents covered it up years ago.
There we go, and I'm the more moral person for it.
This is the part in the show where we have to, on behalf of our stations that are broadcasting us, disavow anything to do with what we say.
And our guests say, actually,
well, that's
you brought it up.
Yes. So anyway, the police.
It's a matter of public record.
The police asked him to remove it. He removed it. Peter Gower,
Removed the fig leaf?
He removed the painting, which did not have a fig leaf. Yeah, that was and he replaced it with a female in a short dress and bearing one breast, and that remains in the window.
So is that good or bad?
Well, what it is there a double standard? I mean, does Douglas consider a female breast obscene? At what point is the nudity part of the ordinance? What does it apply to, and what is allowable in the culture today? I mean, if you go to, I wrote a column about it. If you go to the Accademia in Florence, you will see the David, maybe the world's most celebrated sculpture by Michelangelo.
And guess what?
Guess what? Well, these
he's
are
not a Ken doll.
Yeah, guess what? This is the 1400s in Italy. If you go to the Sistine Chapel, which is in the Vatican, a chapel, okay, you will see the Michelangelo, the huge Sistine Chapel, and the Last Judgment on the back wall. Horrors! Where are the fig leaves?
But hold on, those things were done
In the
back
1400s.
In the 1400s,
Yes,
when
yes.
no one wore clothes
we,
at all.
yeah, we've
we
advanced.
walked around completely naked, or we would have.
We've advanced far in Douglas, in Saugatuck, the
And it's
coast of
interesting.
Michigan.
It's interesting. Were you trying to point something out because it was Douglas that they allowed the man to be naked? And
Well, Douglas was the one who
They
said
didn't allow.
the police went there and he did remove it, but then he put up the female and he has not removed it. It's there right across the street from Beery Field.
well, I think that's a serious problem. Something we should investigate as
Darn right.
citizens.
Darn right.
Okay.
Well, maybe we should do an inspection of all the shops in Douglas and just make
We'll
sure.
see
that-
what they're showing.
Well, yes. And is it okay in a street window, but not because, okay, there's children in Beery Field. Children could be anywhere, and they usually are.
Yeah.
Usually where you don't want them to be.
And children don't know anything about what is showing. Correct?
Well, I would hope not. And I would hope they never learn.
All right.
I mean, this is scandalous.
There's nothing wrong with that. I know you learned at a young age.
I think we should learn to be ashamed of our bodies right from the start.
I
Scott,
think he's being
you're
facetious.
Or maybe it's just my body, which is pretty shameful.
and
your prude is showing.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
My
Okay.
Purdue prude, yes.
Let's talk, and I only want to touch on this lightly because of the fact next week we have Gordon Stannis on the show, and he's going to tell us about the innovations with the electronics
Yes.
and everything else. But let's talk about the Mount Baldhead.
Mount Baldhead Challenge. Well, of course, you've talked about, the girls being runners and Saugatuck having a culture where they promoted this kind of fitness and the attitude behind it. The Saugatuck Douglas Rotary Club has annually, in the last 7 years, sponsored the Mount Baldhead Challenge the first Saturday after Labor Day. And this year, it's going to be a very new course, going to start and end in Wicks Park, Saugatuck. We're going to have some beverages, perhaps, and some food at the finish line. And it's going to be unique. One race will start in Wicks. The other will start directly across the river. We'll send them at the same time. There is a new loop at Oxbow that goes up to the Crow's Nest.
Oh,
that
Coral
is-
Gables here, the crowbar. Oh, sure. I'm
The
with
Crow's Nest.
you.
Yeah, well,
I can drag anything into my place.
if they can ascend to the Crow's Nest, they may want to go to the Crowbar afterwards
yeah.
because it's a tough trail stretch and it's a gorgeous view up there.
Yeah.
So then you come down from there and then you climb the steps to Mount Baldhead, which is
Ooh.
not a bad view either.
No. So I noticed you're fishing for sponsors, and he says something.
Yes,
like,
yes. Hint.
Yeah.
So you're stepping up right
Are
now to be a named
you
sponsor.
assuming that I backed out because they moved it from here? That wasn't it at all.
I don't know. What happened is I go back far enough to when it started and ended in Saugatuck. I ran it when it started and ended in Saugatuck,
I see.
and I loved it.
Yeah.
And my understanding, at least, talked to Jose Santos.
And it's going to start now. It's still
Wicks.
back in Saugatuck.
It's going to move to Wicks. It's not going to be
geez.
start right by here, but at Wicks Park.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah, and finish at Wicks
That's
Park.
beautiful. That really is. Because I'll tell you what, unless they have the race here in Saugatuck, and it starts here and ends here, it's not going to get Saugatuck people real interested. And I know it didn't get me interested, but it wasn't because I understand they had a big financial backer. Is that right? And did
Yes.
he drop out or what happened?
They did. Huntington Bank was a $10,000 name sponsor until about 2007, and the bank sort of took a hit, and there went the name sponsor. So we sort of scrambled for sponsors since then, and that is important because the race with the registrations pretty much pays for its own expenses, T-shirts, timer, etc. But it's the sponsors and the donors that allow us to contribute to Rotary charities like the Interact Club, Christian Neighbors,
Excuse me a second.
scholarships. So
Kenny, did you get that license number of that car that went by and honked?
No.
Okay. I just wanted, you never know what they could be circling the block. You don't know what's going
well,
on.
if they are, we would have another chance to get the license.
All right. That's your job.
So
Kenny.
keep her. See, this guy, he wears many hats here.
Yeah, he
He's very unappreciated.
I am. Okay. And first of all, you sent me a whole list of stuff.
Yes, I know.
Let's talk about the police department. We beat this dead horse over and over again. But what do you got to add to this?
Well, I think it's worked out pretty well so far.
Yeah.
I don't know if at some point there's going to be a manpower shortage. There's a dispute now. Douglas is saying, hey, if there's we're not going to send our police to do backup there. If you're out of officers, go somewhere else. And they say, wait a minute, mutual aid.
Mutual aid
says
is a
that's not-
two-way street.
Says, yeah, mutual aid does not allow that.
Yeah.
Sorry, but Douglas is hemming and hawing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And we'll see what happens. But the sheriff's people are very competent.
Yeah.
They're good. They're not perfect like anyone, except Zerby was perfect. But
Did you know?
but they're good.
Yeah. Did you know that they actually patrol this? And my friend Larry was telling me he was in the corner bar the other night, that they patrol this every night of the week. They walk these docks and walk the streets.
Mhm.
Did you know that? That's more than our guys did. I mean, 2 officers. How can we afford that? 2 sheriff's officers.
Well, I haven't been down in the evenings
No.
to see how they
I mean,
handle
like
it. But
even
summer is obviously very busy and often a volatile time here. There's just a lot of traffic. Where you have a lot of people, it's good for business, but you also have a lot of people, so there's more people issues.
Sure. Yeah. And that was my concern, but it seems to be Sheriff Frank Baker and his crew are doing a fantastic job. That's not to say that I don't like the boys in blue, the Saugatuck Douglas Police Department, which is no longer Saugatuck, but just Douglas Police Department. I still have many friends on that department.
Sure.
It's good to have a lot of friends as police officers.
Yes, and prosecutors and judges and
in fact, anyone. Kenny, I'm going to turn to you for a moment here and ask you, when do we take a break?
We can do that. It's a little early.
No, I'm asking when. I didn't mean we do it now.
Top of the hour.
Okay, I just want, because a lot of times I'll take a break at the wrong time and there'll be dead air.
we don't want dead air.
We do not want dead air. What's going on with Padnos? I want the latest. Has he suing the court?
The latest is it seems like it's a little overinflated. What Padnos' insurance attorney, Foster Swift, actually has filed a quiet title action. They are trying to define the property lines on the lots facing the lake where the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has, repaired the seawall, the North Seawall there. And the initial story I saw on Wood TV had people speculating that, oh my gosh, this is a land grab. He wants to add 7 more parcels that are for sale for $1.5 million. No. What the deal is they have 7 lots facing the channel there that indeed have long been listed and were approved for McClendon. And those have an asking price of $1.5 million. But what they want to do is have clear title. They want to know where their property starts, where their property ends. In 1904, before the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers built the federal channel there, they signed an agreement with the land's then owner, Marguerite Cook. Remember the Cook Mansion?
Sure do.
Yeah, the Dennisons lived
Cook,
in. Yeah,
I remember.
yeah. Cook was spelled Marguerite. And the last name is C-O-O-K as opposed to K-O-C-H, like our prosecutor.
Right.
But that said that, that they had the U.S. Corps would have access to repair that wall, but it didn't define how far inland they went. On the most recent repair of the revetment on the north side, it was in 2010-11 for $5 million. The lawsuit or the quiet title action claims that the U.S. Army Corps went anywhere from 12 to 40 feet, egressed that. So they wanted to determine clear lines. So there's no ask for a financial settlement or compensation or penalties. What it is a quiet title action to try to define where those lines are in anticipation of selling the lots.
I would like to get Mr. Padnos, Jeff Padnos, on the show. I spoke with him one time, and he said he'd be glad to be on the show, but I've never reconnected with him.
Well, he's obviously very busy, but he's very, very bright man, and he's been a successful businessman for a reason.
Sure has. He's did you know this? Did you know this, Ken? That his company, when they took it over from the original Padnos family, I mean, he's a Padnos family. Anyhow, He became president, but he pays all the other siblings the same amount he makes. Did you know that?
I didn't know
I
that.
thought there was a stand-up kind of way to do it, run a company. Then there's no bickering. He runs the company, but they all make the same.
Yeah.
And they all get along. It's kind of a smart idea. I tried that, but nobody wanted to make that little amount of money that I made.
That's why.
That's the reason. And,
Okay.
all right, Scotty. Hey, thank you so much for
Sure.
being with us because
Thanks for having me on.
we love having you here. And every time we find out more about me when you're on the show, and that's
Amazing. I
that's
wonder
what
how does that work?
Yeah, that's what our friends want to know. They don't want to know about you. No, I'm kidding. You know that they want to know about you. They know about you because they read your newspaper, the Commercial Record.
I hope so. And I appreciate it. It's a real privilege to be here, and it's an honor to be part of a 150-year tradition.
All right. What about our 60-year anniversary? Cheers to 60 years.
I see. Cheers to 60 years.
right.
Yes.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you, pal. All right. We're going to take a short break. Thanks for being with us. Bye. We're going to take a short break, Kenny. You're listening to the Morning Grind here on 103.7 WCSY FM, South Haven, and 92.7 The Van, Holland. We'll be right back.
Look inside Chemical Bank and you'll find everything you'd expect from a community bank. But look outside, in your town, and you'll find we're so much more. We're a community rallying cry, a shoulder to lean on, a beacon of hope for small business. We're more than bankers. We're difference makers, humanitarians, and community advocates. For nearly 100 years, we've been here, and only here in Michigan. Chemical Bank, community spirit made in Michigan. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
A great community deserves a great news source. The Commercial Record, Saugatuck Douglas's weekly newspaper for 146 years, is proud to honor and serve that end. The Commercial Record, with offices at 3217 Blue Star Highway, has in the last 3 years won 15 National Newspaper Association Better Newspaper Contest Awards and 21 Michigan Press Association Better Newspaper Honors. They include Best in the State and Nation for news and feature writing, columns, special ad section, and photography. Its editorial pages give voice to a lively, diverse community. Stories, ads, and pictures keep you up with what's going down in small towns with great aspirations. Look us up online, on Facebook, in print, or stop by to visit. The Commercial Record is proud to pair with the Morning Grind, bringing you news, entertainment, and a forum for all. We will see you in town.
The crisp, delicious taste of Red's Apple Ale. It's a different take on beer that's music to our ears and our mouths and feet. You know, if you're into that kind of thing, which is totally cool if you are. We don't judge. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go take another sip. Crisp like an apple, brewed like a beer. Red's Apple Ale. Pick different. Also available in strawberry and green apple. With great beer comes great responsibility. Red's Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Smack dab in the middle, that's where you are. This is the Morning Grind, coming to you live from Saugatuck, Michigan, the Annex Coffee Shop with your host, Mike Johnson.
Well, thank you, Kenny. We are back, and we are in beautiful Saugatuck today. You know, I want to point out something to you, my friend.
It is a big boat.
What?
You did tell me size matters. That is a huge boat out there.
Where?
On the dock.
Which dock?
Moored your dock.
Oh. Well, thank you. But it's not my boat.
No, it doesn't matter.
No.
But size matters, you said.
Whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. Rough
Okay,
audience, Kenny.
You were going to say before I interrupted you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I forgot what I was going to say. I honestly don't remember what I was going to say.
1 point, Ken.
Yeah, I don't know. It's unimportant. Well, anyhow, we do have guests, so let's keep this thing rolling.
Okay, did you want to say anything about tonight?
No.
Coral Gables.
Okay, sure.
Piano bar open?
Piano bar's open.
Corner bar? Big Daddy karaoke?
Corner bar's open. Big Daddy's off tonight.
Oh.
Off tonight. We have Pee-wee tonight.
Not Big Daddy, but Pee-wee karaoke.
Big Daddy's big, Pee-wee's bigger.
Oh.
But that's what they call him, Pee-wee.
Oh, okay.
But anyhow,
and Comedy Club with Bob J.
And Bob J. and Brandon Gay in the Comedy Club. And then DJ Chinook or Chinook is in the Crowbar. And then we have dining, we have dancing, we have entertainment. And this is our 60th
Summer.
year of doing business here in Saugatuck. So that,
Your
put that in
appearance
your
belies
pipe.
that.
Yeah.
You really look good for.
Well,
for
no,
that.
I'm not 60. The building actually is 112 years old.
Well,
112. We've owned it, my family, for 60 years. Coral Gables has been in Michigan for, 80 years? 43, something like that. 1943. Nah, 46, something like that. Anyhow. So, it's a while. It's a while for the same family being in this business. I think I'm ready to leave it. So leave it to you, Ken, my co-host.
that's a lot of responsibility. I don't think I want that.
All right, there's someone at the door. Save me, if you will. Well, look who's here. It's Scott Pettit. Good morning, Scott.
Jason, that's good.
Pardon?
Jason.
Oh, Jason.
No problem.
No, I had Scott written down. Oh, that was the last guest.
Yeah, that's okay.
See how unorganized I am, Kenny? You realize this?
I'm just popping in on you.
Yeah, and now this is our first get-together, isn't it? Other than the fact we met. Where'd we meet?
We met at Coral Gables. I think it was election night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were we drunk?
I'll take the fifth at this point.
Well, anyhow, as I think about it, Scott and I got talking about it. I said, well, it's too late to do anything. Or he said it's too late to do anything this year since it was last year. But let's talk about it next year, which is today. We're going to talk about.
Yes.
And we're talking about what?
The Casco's Ultimate Mud Challenge.
Oh, boy. Now, that sounds like fun. Where is it, and what do you do in the mud?
It's in South Haven, and a little bit east of South Haven at Lake Arvesta Farms, and it's a obstacle course 5K run. So instead of running down the street and for 5Ks, we're having you running through the field and through the woods.
What are the chances of getting hurt though doing something like that?
Well, like running through the field and through the woods.
Yeah, right. I mean, stepping on a log or
yeah,
perhaps in a pile of something or.
Yeah, we have about a dozen obstacles as you go. So you do have some challenges, a rope bridge, a log bridge, mud crawl.
I got two girls who may want to do that. When is it going to be?
It is August 4th. So the first Saturday here in August.
August 4th. And that's coming up not next week.
About 2 weeks now.
2 weeks now. Yeah. So it's good you're there. And it's going to be in Casco Township?
Well, it's actually just over the line into South Haven Township. But it's really a nonprofit put together by churches. And I was part of Casco United Methodist Church, who was the original kind of developers of it. But making it more an ecumenical fundraiser for all the local missions. And there's a group of men, several churches on 66th Street. So we call ourselves the Route 66 Men's Club. And the property is just a little...
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good name for it. So but people, if they're looking for this, if they set their GPS or something, how are they going to get there exactly?
Well, the best place to do is look on our website, cascomudder.com.
Casco Mudder?
Yeah.
MUDDER.
Correct.
.com.
So it's COAS. Wait.
No, that's Costco. That's where we get our tent supplies.
Mudder. CASOMUDDER. And
Casco Mudder.
It has the address and a map right on there.
Oh, cool.
So it's actually fairly simple to get to. Exit 20 in South Haven off of I-196 and head east about 3 miles.
Oh, really? Going like toward Kalamazoo? Or?
Yeah, so away from the lakeshore.
Yeah, away from the lakeshore. All right. Well, I as I said, I probably got two people who want to get in this thing. Now, is there an entry fee or what?
Yes, and people again can go to the website. The registration's online.
All right.
And the online registration is open through the end of the month. After that, can be in person, so they can do the day of or the night
Is
before.
there going to be
the day.
more money later or what?
Yeah, it's in person is another $10. Right now, it's $55.
55 per person?
Yeah. Well, if they get started in January, we're going to get a staggered cost, trying to encourage people to sign up earlier.
Do you finance people at $55 a person?
It's $55 a person. Yeah.
And do you finance people? I mean, will you carry them? Like if I had two girls, that'd be 110.
Yeah.
And I'd like to
Good math
pay
there.
90 days, same as cash.
Well, I have to talk to the board on that one.
Let them know. Let them know that
Why
they
don't you
may have.
barter, give them a half barrel to serve at the end.
That's
There
a
you
good
go.
idea. Would you think? Well, you have children sometimes running this. So don't you?
Yeah, we got it's a family fun event, so
Yeah.
all ages. We have the main event is a full 5K, but we have the full 5K mutter, a team challenge of 4 or more, a trail run. So people that don't want to get muddy but still want to run, we kind of got a little path around it, but it's still off road, so they'll still get a little dusty.
Yeah.
And then we have a 1K fun run for
People like me.
yeah, we've started off the first year, we called it a kids run for 12 and under, but then we had some parents going, well, can I run it? So we changed it to the 1K children of all ages fun run.
So now, unless I misunderstood, you said $55 a person entry,
Yeah, it is the time we
which is a good price.
yeah.
As long as you get something for it. Do they get a T-shirt? Or
Yes,
something?
everybody gets a T-shirt.
Oh,
Our early registration kind of ended the 15th in time for us to get shirts printed. So everybody that's registered before the 15th will have the shirts at the event. Anybody that's registered after the 15th, we'll do another printing of shirts afterwards and mail them to them. So everybody will get a race shirt.
Oh.
And they're the
So then, how many people thus far do we have in this event?
right now, there's about 110 people registered. This is going to be our 4th year. Last year, we were up to about 170 participants, and probably about 50% of those registered in the last 48 hours.
Really? So can you do the math? $55 times 140 again? Roughly?
Yeah, roughly.
What would that be?
Well, go 55 times 14, so that's 550 and another.
We're listening to Ken Whitcomb.
Yeah, my
do some
gears aren't
ciphering.
lubricated. If I go have a drink, maybe I can come up with an answer.
All right. Well, anyhow, you must make good money to donate.
Well, yeah, the definitely working on it. It takes us, it's about 10 grand investment to put the whole thing on. The first year we were just into the black, about $200. So that's better than being in the red.
Good, yeah. Think about it.
Last year we made about $3,000 that we distributed to several missions in the greater South Haven area.
Right.
And as we grow, we expect that number to grow for us.
Yeah, well, I would hope so, Jason. And how come is WCSY involved in this?
Yes, Cozy's been with us every year. Paul Landecker has come out and done the
Great guy.
live broadcast.
Kenny and I love Paul, don't we?
Yeah.
That's what you tell me we have to say.
Yeah. We do love Paul. We love Laney. We know Dave, the station head master.
Spencer.
Spencer Whitcomb is his name, or what?
No.
Spencer.
Benoist?
He's on the afternoon. Anyhow, the great station. We've been connected with
you're
them.
on it. That's,
It really is. And think about that. Think about that coverage, Jason, if you would. And and I don't want to take away from what you're pushing there, but the coverage we get between these two stations is unbelievable on a Saturday. There's
Yes.
practically nowhere you can go, nowhere to go to get away from our signal. Anywhere from the north all the way down to South Bend, India. You couldn't drive in one day to get away from our signal, could you?
Yes, you could very easily.
See.
Sadly so.
Well, then you don't own a radio station, do you, by any means?
No, if I did.
What do you do when you're, when you're not volunteering?
Well, my 9 to 5, I guess you'd say, is I'm an acupuncturist.
Oh, really?
Spend
No way. In South Haven?
part of the week in South Haven, part of the week in Holland.
Really? Wow.
That sounds like a perfect opportunity to sponsor a show that might be broadcast in both towns.
Yeah. Well, think of the coverage we could give you on it. I think we're leading up to. And that's something you and I work together on that. Anytime there's money,
Yeah.
you smell it like a bloodhound.
There's only one thing you like to do more
What's that?
than talk about yourself is count money.
Or talk about myself while I'm counting money. No.
Two great things at once, right?
Yeah. No, but your acupuncture, I think you were recommended to me. I got a really bad ankle. Can you do something with that, guy?
Well, I could do something. Well, yeah, I've actually been working or practicing for about 20 years and
Mhm.
done a lot of things. My undergraduate's actually in sports medicine,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I understand a lot of the
And then
physical
you
therapy
branched
stuff.
off into acupuncture.
Yeah, and I'm a traditionally trained Oriental medicine practitioner, so
Oh.
as opposed to a Western doctor approaching it from a Western standpoint, the
So do-
traditional Oriental.
Then what is your approach? And what is the non-traditional approach?
Well, non-Western traditional Chinese medicine, Oriental medicine.
Are you Asian? You don't need to.
No, just my name, Jason. But
Now, I don't know if we can say that.
yeah,
Well, I can't, but I guess you can.
no, yeah, I find it a little. You do get that. Everybody expects somebody a little Asian to
Yeah.
be doing Oriental
Yeah.
medicine, but no,
Not the
I'm all
case.
Caucasian.
Well, I mean, you look Caucasian, but what does a Caucasian look like? I have no idea. I'm saying that wrong, I think.
I went in the school I went to was in Hawaii, so I spent 3 years
Really?
out in Hawaii.
Oh, who was that woman we had on the show that time? That massage therapist from Holland.
Oh, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, but she does all that stuff. What the heck was her name? Can't remember. We probably shouldn't bring it up because there could be some copyright issues there. I'm not sure. Huh? You know? What do they call you?
Her name was Jason.
No, I know your name is Jason. It's Petty, right?
Pettit. So,
Pettit.
yeah,
Close.
close. I've had Pettit.
Pedophile.
Yeah. Well, no, not
Ever
that.
heard that?
Hopefully,
No.
won't have that one.
So, why would they call you Scott? That was Sullivan.
That was the last person.
Well, we just wonder, with your, if anyone is hurt on the trail, you would be the one then to treat them.
Actually, no. We have the
Medical.
South Haven emergency services there the entire time with their ambulance and their people there. That's my going through school and whatnot. I was a lifeguard in South Haven for many years, so the safety is kind of one of my big ones. And
Oh, yeah.
I figure we need about 100 volunteers to really cover all the things. And part of that is from the safety standpoint. We like to have it family friendly. There's some challenges, and it depends on how hard you push yourself, how bad those challenges are, but we want them all to be safe so
Do you
people
have
can
any?
have a good time.
Do you have any big names running in this? Like any runners?
Not that ring any bell with me, so.
Yeah. Well, are you familiar with any of the runners? The big names?
No.
Saugatuck has Corey Gorgas.
Okay.
He's a great runner and I don't know if he would do anything like this because he doesn't want to hurt his chances of.
Well, yeah.
college.
And if somebody's doing collegiate or professional runner doing marathons or whatever, they probably wouldn't want to do an off-road race because of potential twisting an ankle and
that was
screwing up
what
your
I was
future.
kind of getting at.
But there's a lot of people out there that enjoy just the run, like myself, and probably some of the development. I'm the original conceiver of the idea, so I got stuck in charge of it.
Where was it conceived?
Well, originally I was the finance chair at Casco United Methodist Church back about 6 or 7 years ago, and wanted to come up with a large fundraiser, not something that would just raise a couple $100, but something that would raise several thousand. And as it's growing and working with other churches, well, it really shouldn't be a Casco thing. It should be an ecumenical thing. Working with all the churches.
I think it's a great fundraiser, great idea, great fundraiser. And, I think it's difficult to constantly come up with new fundraisers. Everyone does a challenge, a race challenge. We used to do a boat race called Gables Challenge Cup challenge in there again. There's car races. But this is something probably anybody can do.
Yeah, we've had.
If you can walk, you can do it, right?
I know for sure the youngest person we've had, or the youngest person that I know of that has done the full 5K and has done it really good. It was an 11-year-old.
Oh, really?
Anybody under 12, we want side by side, stride for stride with an adult. She raced with her dad. And she probably did better than I would have done.
Yeah, because you got to imagine now. I think fitness is so important in kids' lives, especially. I just think that I have girls who love to run.
Yeah.
And then, but if you have the couch potato, like Kenny used to teach racing, running, rather, correct?
Coach, yeah.
Yeah, he coached cross country and track.
Not cross country.
Not
Just track and field.
Just track and field.
Well, we could throw like the steeplechase in there, and that'd be kind of somewhat similar.
Yeah. Well,
but we're the real steeplechase where you're going through the actual mud.
I think we're led by our president. He's a great runner. When he's done with his donuts and all that stuff in the morning, he goes on a run.
Wait.
Oh, golly.
By the way,
I did it to keep Kenny awake because he's getting tired. He's not saying nothing.
We need some of this great coffee they have
Yeah.
here.
Well, and we've mentioned that. In fact, they are a great sponsor of ours. What is that coffee again?
Erica Mason.
Erica Mason. That was the girl?
Yeah.
Who does acupuncture? And
I don't know about acupuncture. She does massage therapy and what's the water treatment?
Waterboarding?
No,
that was Dick Cheney. No, does she? I don't know, what is the water treatment?
Hydrocolonic treatment.
Yes,
That's it.
yes. Oh, yeah.
I clean you out.
I actually had that one time. I backed against the garden hose, and it was. No, I didn't. I'm just kidding. No, that is. Yeah, I remember that. I remember she was on the program. Great interview. She couldn't wait to get out of here because we held her feet to the fire.
Yeah,
and we wanted to find out exactly what this colonic treatment was, how you do it. It seems to me like it's very invasive and something I wouldn't want to have done.
I've read about them, haven't experienced.
No. Well, no. I wonder if Mark Kinnaman has ever done that.
I think we're mere moments away from finding out.
Yeah, we're going to bring that up and find out.
We are less than 2 minutes away from a break, just so you know.
Oh, okay. All right. Less than 2 minutes. That means 25 after. So we're going to wind things up with you. Let's go over this once again, Jason. The Mud Challenge is in South Haven or close to South Haven.
Yeah, just a little bit east of South Haven, just a couple miles.
Okay. And if people want to get involved, they go to
CascoMudder.com, CascoMudder.com.
Register there or register at the door at the.
They can register in person. We'll have race package pickup the night before, Friday night, 4 to 8 on location, August 3rd. Then the race, August 4th, Saturday, with registration opening at 7 a.m. Flag raising, starting of the event about 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're going to let you go because we want to talk about next week's show to some of our friends. Okay?
All right. Sounds good, Michael. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks for being with us. Kenny, next week's show, we want to tell our friends in South Haven.
We have guests.
Yes, we do. And one of them is, one of them I don't know. Isn't that awful? I got his name down, but I can't remember where he came from. Anyhow, Gordon Stannis is going to be on. He's going to talk about the innovative new way to do the Mount Baldhead Challenge. And then we're going to have Terry Burns. We haven't had Terry on in a long time.
Is he out?
Oh, he's out, all right. He's come out.
No, I mean out of prison.
Oh, yeah.
Or jail or wherever he was.
He was only doing that on weekends. And then we have Dan Howitt. We love Dan.
Oh, love Dan.
So stay tuned next week. We'll be back in just a moment.
For 7 years now, Simpatico Coffee has been bringing people together over a good cup of coffee. Smooth, fresh, delicious, Simpatico Coffee is roasted daily in order to bring you the freshest coffee available. What's your coffee drink? Espresso, latte, Americano? Only the finest establishments can serve Simpatico Coffee. The Annex Coffee Shop at Coral Gables not only has the friendliest staff and the best view in Saugatuck, they now have the best coffee too, Simpatico Coffee. So grab your favorite coffee drink, piping hot or over ice, and taste the Simpatico difference. You'll be glad you started your day at the Annex Coffee Shop at Coral Gables, where only we have the winning combination. Best view, best staff, best coffee, guaranteed.
This portion of our program is also brought to you by Cisco, whose commitment to customer service is evident in every one of its nearly 400,000 sales and service relationships with restaurants, healthcare, educational facilities, and lodging establishments. Cisco helps its food service customers succeed by helping them satisfy consumers' appetites. Good things come from Cisco. To learn more, visit cisco.com.
Hey, quick, over here. It's me, Kenny. I've got to make this fast while Mike stepped out so he doesn't catch me talking to you. You have to come to the Coral Gables Comedy Club tonight. My sides are aching from laughing so hard. These comics are hilarious. They tour all over and bring the best in comedy each week to Coral Gables Comedy Club. Get your tickets at the door, or better yet, go to CoralGablesComedyClub.com right now for tonight's show. Oh, Mike's coming back. See you tonight at the Coral Gables Comedy Club.
This is the Morning Grind. You've just tuned in to the best part, the end, with your host, Mike Johnson.
Why would that be the best part? Won't there be absent something when we end?
Well, the last segment is often when we have some of our best guests.
Oh, I see. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Have you saved the best guest for last today?
I have indeed. But before we get to him, I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
Let me ask you a question, and that is, how can people watch this? Do we know? Can they watch this? Or what?
They will be able to.
When?
Once we're done testing.
Oh, so this is only a test.
Well, that's why it's just you and I watching right now.
I see.
And the people up in the coffee shop who are watching or ignoring us.
No, I can hear the crowd up there right now.
Yeah, I was up there
chanting.
earlier
Yeah.
getting you your cup of coffee, and
that which I
they had the
appreciate.
volume turned all the way down on the television.
That's always difficult to take, but nevertheless, it is realization. As Mark Kinnaman always says, this show is getting better and better every week. So,
well, he's a man who
He
we know and trust.
He knows his stuff. So let's bring him in here when he gets here. There's Mark.
Whoa.
Good morning, friend.
Look at the crowd in here today.
Yeah, we are
Three
loaded.
of us. Make noise.
Well, right, but there's a huge background noise. Can you hear that?
I can hear that. Everybody's out in the patio.
coffee
That's a good
shop talk.
choice. Yep. Yep.
If people come to this show to either be seen or to watch the show.
Let me turn that mic up just a little bit.
Who's mine?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
the one in the coffee shop.
Oh, yeah.
You're eavesdropping on people in the
notice
coffee
that.
shop?
Well, not the conversations verbatim. We don't do that.
We
but-
might have to look into some of the federal guidelines on exactly how
Well,
that
that's why
works.
you're here, Mark. You're here to talk law.
Okay.
And
I didn't know that.
you are an attorney, as we do know that.
Right.
And we're going to talk about animal law.
Yeah, we decided we'd do that, you know,
Yeah.
because you're.
Well, you decided.
Well, I did. Yeah.
But I
It's
appreciate it.
there's a lot of confusion between what are pets and what are emotional support animals
Yeah.
and what are actual service animals. And there are some laws that govern all of that. So, I mean, I love these airlines that had people who want to bring an ostrich on there, right? And so that becomes the question: is how does that all work?
Are you being facetious, or seriously someone tried to do that?
Oh, haven't you? It was a peacock, I think. You missed that
I never
story?
heard of it, but go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Well, I didn't.
There's many things that people have never heard of on this show, and we bring it to them anyhow.
We have pets and we have emotional support animals, and really the distinction is that neither one of them are trained to do anything. You know, the Michigan law and the federal law regarding service animals, people with legitimate disabilities and who have animals that are specifically trained to accommodate those people to function in the real world. In light of those disabilities, those are service animals. And we have tremendous broad laws that make allowances for those people
Yeah.
and for the animals.
How do we know they're service animals? How do we?
So, first of all, they're specifically trained for a specific disability.
The animal tell you that, or what?
No, you actually.
Well, what
okay,
I'm getting at, Mark,
is how do you know?
How do we know?
How do you know?
Yeah.
That's a good question. So we have a specific statute in Michigan, which really runs parallel with the same law in the federal government, except Michigan, our law is under the penal code, which means that if you violate someone's rights under the service animal statute, you can be prosecuted criminally for a misdemeanor.
Wow.
That really only applies as if you actually get your animal registered with the state of Michigan. It's not required. But if you don't have your animal registered and you're denied accommodation, there's some real fuzzy area in there as to whether or not they can actually prosecute under the criminal statute. Yeah. So people in Michigan who have a service animal who has been trained to accommodate a bona fide disability would be well advised to register that animal with the Michigan Department of Health, I think it is. Just go on the website, michigan.org, and they'll tell you.
Okay, and we just
So?
an example here.
Mhm.
It's so confusing to me. People,
Oh, gosh, yes.
people will walk in my restaurant with a dog on a leash, and they say, and of course we ask, is that a service animal? Am I allowed to ask that?
You're allowed to ask that. You're allowed to ask two questions. Let me pull that out. I got a pile of paper here.
All right.
But let me pull that out. Here's what you're allowed to do. I thought you might ask that.
Yeah.
So I printed this
So
statute.
he's well prepared.
Two questions. Well, one is probably is this a registered service animal, and the other one is he house trained?
You are not forced to clean up or accommodate animals, and so animals can't be creating some kind of a public health disturbance or that kind of a thing. You're entitled to run a business as well. The problem comes in when you start trying to disallow someone with a legitimate disability who has a trained service animal, and you start going beyond what the law requires.
Okay.
There is a very, very strong presumption in favor of accommodating people who come in with a service animal.
So what questions can
So
we
let
ask?
me ask you that. Let me give you those two questions.
All right. And I'm going to write them down. I hope you folks at home
I'll
write
give you
them
a
down.
copy of the. I'll give you a copy of the act.
Oh, no,
Down,
I'd
you can
rather
keep
read it.
that. So here it is. So in answer to your question, the law provides in Michigan that a service animal shall be under the control of its handler. It shall have a harness, leash, or other tether unless the handler is unable because of the disability to use that kind of thing, harnesses and leashes. And the animal has to be safe and effective performance of the work tasks in which the service animal is there to do.
Well,
So
you
then the
can't-
public-
But you can't say, all right, they come in, can I say, is that a service animal?
You can
Or
ask.
are you out for a walk?
You can ask A, whether the service animal is required for a disability, and B, what work or task the service animal has been trained to perform.
Oh,
You may
nice.
ask
I didn't know
those
you
two
could ask
questions.
that.
If it is not obvious what the service animal provides, the staff of the, like for example, the corner bar, is not allowed to ask the person with the disability to provide some kind of medical documentation. Can't do that. Requires any special identification or some kind of training card or any of that kind of thing. Now, that is available, and people who have service animals would be well advised, as I said earlier, to go ahead and get that registration, because then you walk in with an identification card. It's very clear to everybody, and it makes everybody more comfortable.
But I think they do that to make it fuzzy, so nobody really knows.
I don't know that so much that as it is people don't realize you can do it, although I would think that if you have gone through the whole process of being diagnosed with a disability, obviously a lot of them are obvious, but there are people who have emotional disabilities. So
We had someone the other day come in. The good thing about this, the dog had like a saddle on, and then this side he
probably
had
one of your bar customers.
this side he had a gun. No, this side he had papers that I did not inspect because I didn't think that was enough that he had the papers.
You're not allowed to ask for them.
No, and the other side, something that had liquid in it for the dog. You've
Oh.
seen those miner's helmets that you wear with beer cans on them?
Sure.
Similar to that,
Really?
only on his back. The tube went around to the dog's mouth.
That's crazy.
Didn't make a lot of sense.
See, now I don't know whether or not that is reasonably related to the specific disability that the animal has been trained to accommodate. But I guess you got to give the animal water.
Unless you have an premise lawyer, which I have.
Probably 6 of them at the bar drinking.
Yeah. No, unless you have that person, you really got to be so careful. And the worst time for them to come in is when you're busy, because I got to seat that table, got to do this, I got to go back and cook, and everybody. Well, last one that came in, the dog just pranced in, and nobody said a word. They sat down. The dog didn't do anything on the floor, but I turned my head because I didn't want to see it. It was just a dog. The
Yeah.
lady was walking fine. Perhaps it was an emotional problem.
It might have been an emotional service dog. I mean, they have those.
Yeah.
Right. But you could have asked, is this what? How did you say it? You can ask if the dog.
You can ask whether the service animal is required because of a disability. So that's real easy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I like your doggy. Is it a service animal?
This was a Yorkie.
Right? The Yorkie, yeah.
Well, and so what you're saying in that sentence is, it could be a service animal, but if the person that is handling the animal doesn't need a service animal for a disability, then that doesn't require accommodation.
Right. Well, and you got to be careful, right? If you start making the unilateral decision on your own as to whether or not this person needs this service animal under these conditions, you're rolling the dice. And
But you're saying you can ask if it's for that person.
Is this service animal required because of a disability? You can ask that.
And if they lie,
well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you're not going to do anything.
Well, I mean, part of it is using reasonable discretion on it. I think that you would probably, especially with your years of experience in the restaurant and hospitality industry, you'd get a pretty good sense as to whether somebody's just playing you or if it's legit.
yeah, but you could be dead wrong. And,
Absolutely.
And get sued or whatever else
Well,
happened.
right. I mean,
So now I've done this before I knew much about this, and I thought Michigan laws said you don't have to let them in.
well, that's not true.
See,
Michigan law is actually more punitive
Yeah.
than the federal law, because the Michigan law has a provision that provides that it's a criminal offense for you to do it.
Okay, well, all right. So now what happens if it's just somebody wants to bring their dog with them to dinner?
You know, if it's an emotional distress dog, emotional support dog, then there is actually a way that those can be checked as well. Those don't have anywhere near the protections, because here's the thing that makes a service dog different from pets or emotional support animals, they have been specifically trained to perform a certain specific function to accommodate a specific disability.
We have a test. We have a pistol that when the dog will shoot it off, if the dog scares and runs and everything, he's not.
Well, he doesn't have the disposition for this job. And
but if he says that doesn't bother me, that's all you got. If he does something like that,
what if he bites you?
Let him in. Yeah.
Then everybody in the bar goes, "Good dog."
Here's what we do. We say you can bring the dog in, or we'd rather you took it to the corner bar downstairs where you can have the dog outside, because the health department, I think, overrules what you're saying. The health department can say you can't have an animal around the food.
That would,
not if it's a trained service dog.
I think that's an incorrect statement of the law. Here's the thing about the public accommodation can exclude a service animal from the requirements and here's the quote, if the service animal's presence interferes with the legitimate safety requirements of this facility. And the example they actually give is, for example, in a surgery or burn unit in a hospital in which a sterile field is required. So you have health code obligations as well as public accommodation obligations. And so as the owner of the establishment, you're going to have to balance one against the other and make the appropriate decision. I know.
Holy cow. That's a horse.
No, here's a great example. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Here's the other question you can ask.
Large dog.
Yeah.
Oh, outside the window, folks.
This dog will be telling you where he's going to sit.
Yeah.
Did you want to know now with that? Because there's a provision in there for small horses. And there's a provision about the requirements as well. So you might have to ask about that.
What about
chickens? I can't imagine what specific
chicken make lousy house pet.
Yeah.
The old Saturday Night Live skit with Martin Short.
I didn't see that, but he did a special with Steve Martin. They're old guys now, and they came back and they did a reunion thing on HBO. I laughed so hard the entire hour and a half. It was incredible how good that was. You get a chance to see that, do that. That's so worthwhile. So you can do that, but here's the other provision. Remember, you have an obligation, and so therefore you have the option to make a decision whether or not the legitimate safety requirements of your operation are jeopardized by the proximity. Now, you can't disallow the animal, but you can make a determination where the person and the service animal can sit, because you're talking about making them sit outside. Can't do that. The law says that the public accommodation shall not isolate a person with a disability. So they're trying to make sure that you're I got to let you in, but you're going to sit over here behind the ice machine.
But let me qualify that. They come in and for example, this has happened. They would come in a restaurant and they want to sit outside on the deck, and we say, well, we don't, for some reason. Because the health department will not allow. And I was told, and true, I swear to you, told by the health department, we don't have to let people in with dogs.
Did you ask him where he went to law school?
No. But and after you're on this show today, you search the health codes and see what that says about letting animals in there.
Well, so the question would be, would all service animals be excluded automatically in places that serve alcohol or food or beverages?
It could be up to
and the answer to that's got to be no.
It has to be no. It has to, I think, and I may be wrong because of the law. We'd hate to have the law be right and me be wrong, but but it's up to the discretion of the owner or the manager.
I think you're
Well,
right. You're talking about pets and about non-trained service
We've
animals.
got three separate distinctions. Number one, you got a pet. Anybody can have a pet, right?
And you can then refuse that.
Number two, you're talking about emotional support animals. And emotional support animals, all you need in order to have an emotional support animal is a letter from a qualified mental health professional, psychologist, on that person's letterhead that says that you need this particular animal as your emotional support animal. That letter is valid for a year, so it's got to be dated. And if you have that, then you will be accommodated, your emotional support animal will be accommodated in two areas. Number one, public housing. So an apartment building and you're renting an apartment and, well, we have no pets. Well, but here's my letter.
Okay.
From my qualified psychologist who's done a workup and has come to a professional conclusion that this emotional support animal is necessary for my mental well-being. Okay.
Yeah.
The other one is on the airlines. There's a specific section in the air code. There's an initial down there, an acronym for it, but there is a code that governs airlines, and they make a special provision for emotional support animals on airplanes, which is why you start seeing people bringing on. You missed it maybe, but there was a lady who brought a peacock onto a plane.
Okay. Well, but you're saying that those animals need not be accommodated by law. Then that's what Mike
in a
was talking
bar
about.
and restaurant, pets, nope. Emotional support animals, even with the letter, nope. Because that only works public housing or the airlines. If it is a trained service dog, a service animal, then you have to let that person in. There are some.
I'm going
there
to
are
argue with
obviously.
that still.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I mean, go for it.
I'll tell you why.
You might do it in court.
You
I'll
should
tell
be
you why.
you should be the test for it.
But I'll tell you why.
Myrene
I
can
argue.
prosecute you.
I was told by our health department that it's up to our discretion
Okay.
to decide if it's a service animal or not.
Understand that when you get to you making a discretion as to whether or not something is a service animal or not, that puts you in the line of fire because now you're making the call. You're making it and you're exercising your discretion. And that's when you start getting at charges of discrimination. That's, if you just follow it.
Nowadays, anything you do is going to be challenged. So it doesn't matter.
Maybe.
That portion of it. And that's what keeps you in business. You are an attorney, of course. And as many of our listeners know, I wonder.
Many of your listeners are.
Yeah.
You can't swing a dead cat anymore without hitting a lawyer.
Yeah.
And then you'll get sued.
And then you get sued because there's abusing animals under the whatever act.
Yeah. Let's keep an eye on that Johnson because he's. But let me digress here a minute.
Sure.
I was talking about what we do. Sometimes we will send them to the corner bar because of what reason? We tell them they can tie up their animal in the yard and sit and have lunch on the deck.
You can suggest it, but you cannot require it.
Oh, sure. I mean,
Okay.
Exactly.
So it's really a question of how good you are with people, honestly. Yeah. You can make people feel like they've been offended, or you can make people feel like you're really going out of your way to accommodate them.
Could be the wrong one to do that.
Skill and style.
That's why we have Larry, because Larry says, "You're not going in."
Well, he'll name call you first.
Yeah.
He'll give you a nickname that's probably not really flattering, and then tell you what you can't do, and what you can do if you don't like it.
Yeah. That's a terrible thing for you to say.
Is he back?
Yeah.
Oh
he's back.
gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him. I had to come
I'll
down.
tell you what, he
is a
so
character.
much. He really has.
Well, how long has he been back?
Well, since Memorial Day.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's been here helping me out. I abruptly had a manager retire who'd been with me 28 years.
Yeah.
I had some other issues. Other managers were doing other jobs and whatever. And Larry and he just hooked up. I don't know, God sent him
I love
my
that.
way. And he's,
You know, that year you opened the corner bar, and
Yeah.
I was bartending down
Yeah.
there, and you had the bungee jumping and all
Oh,
of
yeah,
that. And 92.
is that when it was?
92.
Wow.
Yep. 1992.
You and Linda worked there.
Yeah.
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 So,
And Larry.
Larry, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember those days they lined the docks to watch
That was-
bungee jump.
It was awesome.
Remember that?
They were all over like ants. It was
Yeah.
just the most incredible thing.
And,
But the
and
year
you
the corner bar opened.
you did card tricks back then.
Yeah, I'm actually
Many
getting
of them.
back into that.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You really should get out of law.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's no future.
I mean, well, no, there could be a
travel as a
future.
close-up card magician. That's what I'll do. Yeah, why not? Right?
Sleight of hand
So-
is sleight of mind, like you do in. But you
Verbal
are
leisure domain. That's
But Mark,
that's the trick.
you are what do you call it? What do you call it? You do a fair amount of mediation.
I do a
you
lot
not?
of those. Yeah, I do more and
And,
more all the time.
Are
Yeah.
you known as the mediator? Then?
I like to think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
In
I-
Allegan or Ottawa?
both Allegan and Ottawa.
Do you
I-
really?
You
I
do,
do.
non-family court mediation? Like other-
I'm
like
trained to
corporate
do
stuff?
those. I've done, think 2.
Labor?
I think I've probably done 400 or so mediations, and 2 of them have been general civil, non-domestic. Both of them involved contractors, building,
Yeah.
and a beef about it.
Do you have to?
And I couldn't
know-
sell either one of them.
Okay. Do you have to know a lot about whatever you get and whatever it's mediating? Right?
It's very helpful for a mediator to in family law to be a family law attorney with some experience, because understanding how the law works is a real handy tool in helping guide people,
Yeah.
especially because all those people are also represented by lawyers. And so as a mediator, you're able to kind of push it a little bit, you know, push the point a little bit, because they're sitting there with their watchdog, their bulldog right there.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to push around with the lawyers.
So, do mediators kind of guide cases?
Yes.
I mean, they can.
You're trained not to. You're trained to ask a lot of open-ended questions. And then when you get out in the real world and start doing it, you realize that you have to actually make some statements and get the other attorney who's sitting there to agree that this is, that, you know, let's figure out what is the judge likely to do. That's a handy piece of information in helping you decide maybe how you might want to settle it.
Mhm.
And so if that question's asked,
Take cover.
yeah. Have you ever walk out of Meyer or something and hear a horn going in the parking lot and nobody's going to it? It just keeps, it's like, well, why do you even have the alarm? Right?
For days.
Nobody comes around.
That goes on. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Till
So,
you pack
but it's
the
very, very
groceries.
helpful to be a family law practitioner who's pretty well experienced if you're going to do family law mediations.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good. And so your office is located where? And
I am on 728 East 8th Street in
Uh-huh.
Holland, Michigan.
do you have enough work, or do you want people to call you?
I am a very busy attorney, to be honest with you, but there's never enough, right? Keep it coming.
Just being on this show is
Well,
really
this is-
really crimp.
Well, you-
putting a
I
crimp in
couldn't.
your
I couldn't.
schedule.
I was in the food stamp line until I started doing the morning grind.
Yeah, you
Unreal.
are actually our
Unreal.
legal advisor.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
You mean I
we
assume the
don't-
liability for everything that gets
Yeah.
said? Okay.
We don't listen to
We're
you
not just shooting the breeze
necessarily.
here. This is like
You
legal
are
advice.
our Michael Cohen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the creepy porn lawyer?
We
or-
we
no,
we don't pay you anything.
That's the other one. Okay.
But we rely on you,
Ah.
and we expect that you're going to flip on us at some
Okay.
point.
and,
Okay.
and we expect
And you know I
to-
will.
You,
You know I
we
will.
expect you to make payments if we
As
need-
soon as the case
need
comes
to
through on
slide
the service animal, and they're like, "Well, I told Johnson, but he didn't listen to me." Oh my God, how many times?
Yeah, and then we always
You're right.
say,
I could represent you in your lawsuit against him.
Right.
oh geez.
Right.
Oh yeah, he don't listen to me either. I don't know. No, but being our legal advisor, that's quite a serious.
Yeah, that's a daunting
responsibility.
task.
You may actually have to go talk to the lawyer that you pay, Mike, to make sure that your that
Yeah.
your company policy is clarified.
Yeah, I might do that. Did you know?
I actually should probably let my malpractice carrier know that I come on this show and talk about the law. Now that I think about it, Because there are people out there may rely on what I said and then
Yeah.
say, "Well, Kinnaman's on the air. He's blasting us all over the place."
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a call.
I think you would. I think you would have some
Didn't think about
problems
that.
with that service animal stuff. I think you might.
Really? I'm reading the law to you.
Well,
I'm not.
I know, but I'm not sure the law is correct.
Oh no, the laws are. But when Bob Janetsky makes it to the state senate,
we'll get.
you'll
what
be
we
able
want.
to get that. Yeah, you'll have him back in
We
your
got
pocket.
him in
He
our
tells
pocket.
Sal Sapienza that the Bible's wrong too when
God.
he quotes the Bible.
Right.
Well,
Mike says, "No, that's
no.
not right."
No, that's not right.
There's Sal's Bible, and then there's the Bible. Sal's a man, and you brought him up, of few rules in his church, and one of his rules is there are no rules. So
rule.
And for Mike, that's not a church if there aren't rules.
Well,
Oh, you got to have rules. You got to have a guy up front who runs the show. Sal runs the show, but not the show.
he's more the MC. you're
Yeah,
saying.
he
Okay.
is. He introduces the
Introduces acts.
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, and now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, all the way from Baltimore, Maryland. And
He just
James,
flew in
James
and-
Brown with a collar.
I feel good.
The Godfather of saving your soul, right?
I am going to tell him that you said that. That is awesome. He will love it.
Sal, but I'll tell you this: Sal's a great friend, and I'll tell you what, he makes religion fun.
Yeah, I've heard him on your show,
Yeah.
and I get a big kick out of him.
Yeah,
I
he's
really
a
have to
fun
tell you.
guy. He really is. Last show, he actually got real serious about a subject, which I won't bring up. But man, he was just he was pretty serious about it, and I hate to see him like that. I hate to see the show like that. The idea is to have fun, entertain.
That's true, but sometimes you touch an emotional chord, and what are you going to do? People are people.
Yeah, they are.
So, and I think your audience likes that. I think they like to hear the real inside.
Assuming we have an audience.
Assuming.
Yeah.
Have we had any more complaints,
Just
Mike?
from the post office. It was the
Okay.
only one.
What do they complain about?
Well, see, you don't understand.
I
this,
do.
Ron.
About getting the mail delivered.
And I must say that they warned me. They warned me that you better change your address to a PO box or we won't be delivering.
Right.
They warned me like a year, and but I kind of thought, yeah, whatever. I'm Mike Johnson. I don't worry about that. No, I didn't feel that at all. I changed as many as I could, but I get probably 20, 30 pieces of mail a day.
You get
at least that
diluted,
much.
diluted.
And who do you tell? I mean, how do you tell the world? Well, I don't get mail from the world, but how do you tell a bulk audience? Be sure and use my PO box. How do you do that?
Well,
Is there a way?
Can't you do a redelivery request for the post office? Hey, if it comes to this address, send it to this PO box.
You probably
Can
can
you
fill
do
out
it?
a form for that, but if they put 20 pieces of mail in Mike Johnson's PO box,
Yeah.
and then the 21st piece has your address on it and not the PO box, why did they send that back?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. And but I'm not. Please, I don't need any more trouble. with
Yeah,
that.
you got enough problems. You don't need to get the post office on your back.
Well,
You won't get anything.
She was very upset with me.
She was
said,
direct.
I heard your radio show, and I said, well, at least we got a list.
Have her on. Say, come on.
Yeah.
Come on the show.
I don't know because I can't treat her like I could you. I could be rude to you, and you'd still come back. But
Pavlov's dog, like a service animal trained to lick your hand, Mike. And therein lies the disability.
Yeah, but so that bothers you too. I see it's just stuck in your craw. They send it back.
But me, I just have it all delivered. I don't even have a PO box, and I'm more than a mile away, so they do it.
Yeah.
But Justine can walk out her door and hit the PO box, hit the post office with a rock.
Yeah.
Did you know
And
that
doesn't get mail all the time? I
it
shouldn't
is
say that.
not a requirement that if you have rural delivery of mail, they are not obligated to pick up your mail that you
leave in the box?
Right. Yeah. That is just a courtesy.
You want to know what? That's why Amazon is going to wind up delivering all the mail in this country someday.
Yeah, but you know
Because
who
it's
does the
public
last
service.
mile of Amazon's
Post office?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
well, there
the
you go.
post office
Maybe
now
that's the official
contracting.
system. There's the system. There you go. Get your stock in Amazon because someday they're going to wind up delivering all the mail.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the other way around. The post office is delivering packages even on Saturday and Sunday for places like FedEx, and I don't know if they do UPS right not yet, but
don't you think that private enterprise can do it better and cheaper than the government, no matter what it is?
There are some things I think that are an exception to that.
Prisons are like, for example, when
Yeah.
they set up, privately funded prisons,
Right,
they're more efficiently run, everything
for profit.
Yeah. Yeah. When there's all
I
about the
would-
bottom line, I'd
take
do it.
issue with that because there's some sentencing problems with keeping those for-profit prisons full.
We should probably talk about that one of these times.
Yeah, that'll be a subject for next show.
Okay.
that you're
Oh,
on.
it'll be less than a minute to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Sorry
we
about
won't discuss it much today.
Okay.
We won't.
We
And
can talk more
and-
about the disability stuff too, if you want, unless you thought that was enough, but let me know.
Yeah, I thought there was plenty.
Okay, good.
I mean, I don't ever bring that back.
Don't
up, all right?
Well, I will when
Please.
you're incarcerated on the misdemeanor. And you said, well, Kinnaman told me.
Can they do that on a misdemeanor? Can they incarcerate?
While they talk about that, today's show was brought to you by Saugatuck Harbor Auto Owners Insurance, Saugatuck Center for the Arts, and Simpatico Coffee, Palace Full of Gelato, Chemical Bank, Cisco Foods, Miller Lite, the Commercial Racket, the Corner Bar, and the Cola Gables Comedy Club featuring Bob J.
That's right. Bob J., the man of 999 voices. Mark Penman, thanks so much. Thank you, Jason,
Bye,
for
Mark.
being on, and Scott Sullivan. We'll be back next week, same time, same bat channel.
There's a
bat
cultural
channel.
reference. Love it.
All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.